G'day, it's True here. Welcome to another African Violet video. Today I'm just doing some repotting up of some plants into new pots. Because I did have a powdery mildew outbreak, I'm just putting them all into new pots, new soil. And I think it'll just make them feel a lot better and hopefully help reduce the chance of any more spread of powdery mildew. Just got my soil mix here. Don't want to compact the soil down too much because you want them to have nice air pockets. Around their roots. Next one. And I've just got a container here. I'm just tipping the old soil out, and then I'll just tip that out onto the garden, the old soil. That one's got quite a well-developed root system. And the roots take up most of the room in the pot, which is fine. That's what you want. Because that way it won't take long before the roots hit the side of the pot and the plant flowers. Just tap it down. Get rid of the old soil. So this is just a soil mix of African violet soil, perlite, vermiculite, and some peat moss. The peat moss helps with it increases the acidity level in the soil. African violets like to have a little bit of an acidic soil. They prefer that. This one's got a very well developed root system, which is great. So this one won't take long before it does start flowering. If you get any dirt on the leaves, you can just brush it off. Or I often have used a bicycle pump just to get rid of any dirt on the leaves. I find that works really well. A bicycle pump just blows it off, and so you're not touching or damaging the leaves while you're trying to get all the soil off that you get on it sometimes when you're replanting. And that one's got an even bigger root system. Wow, it's amazing. So once a year, you should repot your African violets into new soil. And the reason why we do this is because they use up all the nutrients that's in the soil that they've got. And the only nutrients they're getting is what they're getting in that pot. It's not like a plant that's in the ground where they're getting nutrients from elsewhere. Here, it's only what you give them is the nutrients that they get. So it's really important that they do get fresh soil on some people say every 6 months, but ideally, yes, it probably would be great, but that's, realistically, do we have time to repot? And if you end up with a lot of plants, probably won't have time to repot. You can see here, this one here has actually got quite a long root, quite a long stem. See there? So you can actually cut that back, but I'm not going to bother, or you can just bury it deeper into the pot. Either way, that will be fine. If it starts getting too long though, you can cut that root stem back, and that stalk back, and I have done a previous video on how to cut back long stalks on your plants. So if you want to do that, or you need to do that with any of your plants, you can go back and see that previous video and it will tell you and show you how to do that. And it's really quite easy to do, and you should, if you do it correctly, you shouldn't have any problems. Your plants will survive and it'll be fine, and probably a lot happier. Another one here. Now these plants are all Noid variety African violets. They're just unnamed varieties that I've collected over the years, and I've, you know, when I've had leaves come off, I've just planted the leaves and I've gotten more plants. And even though they are Noid African violets, they're still really, really pretty. I mean, some of the prettiest African violets are the Noid African violets. And because there are so many different varieties of African violet, there's over 16,000 different varieties of African violets. And even with yourself, you'll end up, you might get a plant and then you lose the name tag off it and you don't know what it is, and you might, you know, break a few leaves off and replant them. And so sometimes it is difficult to know which is which. And usually when you do buy African violets just from commercial places, like big hardware stores or department stores, they usually are Noid. They won't have a name with them most of the time, so, which is a shame, because it would be nice to know which ones they are. But sometimes you can find out what they are with a bit of investigating. But these ones here, most of them are different varieties. You can tell the different leaf patterns and structures and colours, and so there we have it. All repotted, all in their new pots, all happy, and they will be much happier now. They've got some new soil, better sized pots for the size that they are, and hopefully we should get some flowers and blooms very, very soon. So I hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you.